And welcome back to the channel. On this video I want to do kind of a follow-up on my last video, which was talking about the California e-bike law, the new one of 2025, where if your bike can go beyond 20 miles per hour, you cannot have a throttle on the bike. So I thought I would talk today a little bit about what do we do? Like, I'm not in California, but let's say I was, or the many folks that are in California, and they have e-bikes that they've purchased maybe recently or a long time ago, but they have a throttle on them. They're class 3, let's say. So what happens now? Do they do a recall and call the bikes back and take the throttles off? I don't quite see that as happening, but I mean, I've had folks say that they're just going to keep on riding and to heck with it. So anybody out there that is in California, let me know in the comments what you're going to do. Are you going to keep riding your bike? Some people may have just gotten a bike for Christmas, for example, and now all of a sudden they can't ride it. Legally anyway, they can't ride it because it has a throttle, and then say it's a class 3 bike. I don't have to worry about that right now here in Oregon, but who knows where this is going and what states will follow suit. And the other thing I wonder now is what happens to advertising for these companies that sell e-bikes. Do they have to have a separate page for e-bikes that are for California residents? I don't know. We're going to have to see where this is going to go, but there's a lot of things. They should really kind of grandfather this in. If you bought a bike before 2025, you should be able to still ride it, throttle or no throttle, but then everybody will be wanting to purchase a used bike, because that way the bike was purchased before 2025, and I guess it's going to be up to the companies now to make sure that the bikes are legal. In California, I don't know. Speaking of police, there goes one just a minute ago right in front of me, coming out of the police station. Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go, but gee, I'd be awful upset. I'd be awful upset anyway, because it makes no sense to me. But especially if you just bought a bike, like even myself, this bike I'm riding right now is the Lyric Graffiti X, and I just got it. It arrived on Halloween, and I waited 9.5 months, almost. No, that's wrong. I waited 9 months. Bought it in January and got it at the end of October, the last day of October. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they can, or how they're going to deal with this. It's going to be very interesting to follow, because I think they've got a mess on their hands. And we're getting a pretty good rain right now. It's been raining all day here. Another rainy day in Oregon. And yes, I'm out in the middle of it. on my Lyric Graffiti X. So if anybody has any doubts as to whether the Graffiti X can handle the rain, well, I can tell you, I've ridden it several times now in the rain, and it stood up well. I mentioned in a previous video, the one thing I don't like though is the fenders are too short, and they do not do their job, in my opinion anyway, to protect you in any way, or the bike. Well, maybe they do a little bit, but I hardly notice anything, really. I do notice that the brakes become squeaky in the wet. You got to be careful. Leave yourself lots of room when you are stopping, and just don't ride crazy fast in the wet. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments, have you received a bike in the last little while here, say within a year? Even if you haven't, if you've received it or bought one anytime, do you plan on, and you live in California, do you plan on continuing to ride? And for those of you that are not in the state of California, if that law comes to be in your state, how are you going to react as far as riding or not riding? Are you going to continue to ride anyway and say, basically, screw the government, and I'm going to do whatever I want, it's my bike and I purchased it, and at the time I purchased it, it was perfectly fine? Let me know in the comments. This is going to be very interesting to see where this goes, because I have no idea. Like, what if you've got, like I have, here's an example, I have a Ride One Up Cafe Cruiser that's a class 3, and the motor is a sustained 750 watt motor. Okay, I guess that bike is illegal. It has a thumb throttle. And the motor, I don't know what it peaks at. To be honest, it doesn't, I've never been able to find that out exactly. But it definitely has a throttle, so right there it's deemed illegal. So do I have to have the throttle removed from that bike if I were in California before I can ride it? So anyone out there that has one like that, there's a lot of bikes out there that are class 3. Now mind you, that bike will shut off, I shouldn't say shut off, but it will limit you with the throttle at 20 miles per hour. But the throttle is still there. And if I'm reading the law correctly, it says you cannot have a throttle whatsoever on the bike, even if there's a way, like this bike here, the button right there turns on and off the throttle, right? And there's a button right here that does on-road and off-road. Well, the on-road button is limits the bike to 750 watt, but I think it peaks higher than that. I can't remember, but I think it peaks north of 1,000, like 1,200 or whatever. But it does limit you in speed. It goes just a little bit over 20, because I've done it before. Tried it, you know, when I first got the bike, but I don't think that's going to make any difference, because by the sounds of it, they don't want you to have a throttle on the bike whatsoever. So, as I've mentioned before, and I'm going to keep mentioning this, silly, crazy, goofy, nutty, whatever you want to call it, outrageous law. I don't understand. The bike is still going 28 miles per hour, whether you're pedaling it or throttling it, still 28's 28. And if they think that that's going to cut down on accidents, I doubt it, because it's the same. I think actually it's more dangerous, because when you're pedaling, you're doing two things at once. You're pedaling and trying to concentrate on the road, whereas I think holding the throttle, or if you have a cruise control, you're not even holding the throttle. You're just cruising along at 28 or whatever you set it at. But anyway, I'm not going to win, I guess, that argument because they've already made their law. So let's see where it goes and what other states jump on board. And also, I want to know if anybody in California does do this and continues to ride their bike anyway with the throttle. Let me know if you know of anybody or yourself get pulled over by the cops. I'd like to see, let us know what was said and what, how it was dealt with. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, thank you very much for supporting us. Just hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified as to when the next video comes up on the channel, just hit that notification bell. And if you want to comment, like I said, on this video or perhaps any other video that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. And once again, thank you for joining me on this video. And until next time, keep your wheels on the road. See you later.